Oh, man. Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and we're here live at the Build Studio in New York City. You can catch our next guest this Sunday as one of the biggest television shows of all time takes its final bow. But if you only know him as Grey Worm from the Game of Thrones, what am I, 70? If you only know him as Grey Worm from Game of Thrones, you only know a small fraction of the Jacob Anderson story. He's been making music, a special brand of hip-hop, electronic, pop-infused R&B for like the better part of a decade. And after his outstanding 2016 debut, fans are ready for a follow-up. We're going to talk about what he's been up to, and if there's time, the television event of the year. Folks, the great Jacob Anderson is here. Are you excited? I'm excited. How do you feel about that? Because I'm excited. Jacob Anderson right here. Do it.
So,
Dude, congratulations on everything. How are you doing right now, man? Life must be crazy.
I'm good, yeah. I'm doing good. This is the time of year where you get like Grey Worm shouted at you in the street. And they go
Is that it? He's Grey Worm.
Grey Worm
All the time.
Yesterday to be fair, so this is like quite a tension. I can't blame this guy, but we're taking photographs. He was doing like a photo shoot outside. And this guy walked past and went, Dracarys, like that. But I thought he said something about Paris because it's Dracarys. Like, if you're English, you'd say Dracarys. Yeah. So I was like, why is this guy shouting about Paris? Yeah.
Is that one of the stranger interactions you've had? Is the Dracarys, people yelling that at you?
Am I allowed to swear?
You can say whatever you want. It's the internet. Go nuts.
Okay. So here, on the subway a few years ago, this was like, season 4. Okay. So I haven't been in the show that long. I didn't think like anybody would know who I am or anything. Yeah. So just sitting on the subway and I just hear, fuck yeah, Grey Worm! And I was like, what? That never happened to me before.
Was it like 8 in the morning when that happened? What was it? Was it early?
It was the afternoon. It's probably like 2 in the afternoon. Which again, it's like a weird time for
that level.
Any time, there's no non-weird time for that to happen. But yeah, I looked up and nothing. No one was looking at me. I still to this day, I'm like, did I imagine, was that all in my head? I don't know.
Is that true? When you started out, you didn't think anybody would recognize you, or you didn't think it would become what it's become? Yeah.
No, because also I can grow like a pretty basic, I call it like spider's legs on my face. Like, I can't grow a beard, but I've got like very basic facial hair. And I tend to like have that because I'm lazy more than anything. Spider legs is it's at the same time it is charming and terrifying way to describe facial hair. It's a hell of a way to do it. It's like the tentacles.
Yeah, I see that. We're gonna talk about Game of Thrones in a little bit, but I want to start off because we just saw a clip of "Time in a Tree." Not only your song, but you directed that video as well. Is that correct?
I did, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have your hands in a lot of irons and a lot of fires, man. You are all over the place, and you like to do a lot of different things and be creative in a lot of different ways.
I'm really like, I've got to do stuff.
Move. Gotta go. Gotta do stuff. Yeah. I get that. Was that your first time directing? Was that video your first time?
No, I directed another video called Straight Jacket, and I'd done for a song for one of my songs called Straight Jacket, and that was my first video. Yeah. But I'd done a short before that as well.
How far back can you trace this antsiness? This I got to do something. I got to create. I got to move.
I think from like school.
Yeah.
Really, because I'm not a super academic person. I've been really interested in like movies, really, and music since I was a kid. So that's what I would do at night. I was one of those kids that had like a really antiquated TV that you had to like hand tune with like a matchstick in my room. So I would stay up all night and watch whatever random movies were on past my bedtime, and then I'd sleep at school. So I was like, so these things were like all kind of stuck in my head, and I was just a nerd. Like I love comic books. So like those things were the things that inhabited my brain, and school just never really got into me. Stay in school if you're there. So it just kind of was, I had to do that because I didn't have any kind of academic option. There was no option for me to fail or whatever, and I still feel like I'm not doing enough all the time. But yeah,
like right now, you feel that way?
Yeah, constantly. I'm like, why haven't I made a feature yet. I was like, when I was like 14, 15, I wanted to go to film school, and I'm like, how am I 28 and I haven't made a film yet? I was like planning to make like my first feature when I was 20. And I see like Xavier Dolan and people like that who've been doing it since they were kids, and I'm like, oh, it's too late.
To be fair, you've been busy for the past couple of years.
I've been pretty busy, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're not doing anything.
I know.
You just have specific goals that like you'd hoped you'd hit by now and whatnot. You're looking.
Yeah, my plan was always like I'll do an album a year.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work like that. I feel like an album is like a time capsule. So I want to like be more kind of prolific in terms of that. But things come up. Like I was shooting a TV show for a
When
year.
you were on the set of this TV show, this little upstart that you guys were working on, was it such a grand production? Did you think you'd have more time to do both, to put a part of your brain and focus it on music? And did you ultimately have to kind of put that aside while you were working on the show?
That was the intention. But obviously, so normally for the show, I'm like there for 2 weeks. There's like over 6 months, spread out over 6 months. I have like a 6 weeks, a 2 week season, and it's just like in this day, and then a few weeks later, I'm back in to do like a little thing and just stand there.
Wait, can we get that face one more time? Yeah.
But this year, I might be saying this wrong, but I think I had the third most days of all of the actors in the show.
I believe it.
So I was there. I was like in Belfast in places for like, for 10 months straight.
Crazy.
So there wasn't really a lot of time when I came home, I'd be writing songs. I wrote songs. There's a song I think there's on my second album, which I wrote in the bathroom in a hotel in Belfast. Really? So I tried, I tried.
You tried. What is it like? What's your writing process look like? Are you found time in a bathroom in Belfast? Are you notes on the phone kind of guy? That's the time.
Time in the bathroom.
Time in the bathroom. But like, obviously, it sounds like you're looking for moments. You don't set aside. Oh, on Tuesday at 4 o'clock to 6. I'm going to sit down and write. It's not structured like that. It's like you got to find those moments.
I really wish I could have that kind of like workman-like attitude to it. I think I could still do better at that. But no, because the songs that I write are very much like just about how I feel that day, whether it's about stuff I feel that day about the past or the future or whatever. But it is very like, not to sound like, wanky, but like it's very instinctive. Yeah. So I think when I try and structure it too much, I give myself, it's too much pressure. Yeah. I'm like, I have to write a song? And I've done it before, but that's the time when I kind of write songs that don't mean as much to me, and they never really end up going anywhere.
I was reading somewhere you describe your stuff that you do as confessional pop. Is that like a lens through which you view the stuff after you write it? Like, oh, I wrote this and it doesn't mean anything. It's not really saying anything about me, so I don't need this song. Or like, where does confessional pop come from, and does that like guide you in your creative process in some way?
I think it's just that it's the only way I know how to write a song. It's kind of like how bless you. It's kind of it's the only way I know. Yeah, how to write. I think I watched. I listened to music that was like. I responded, to music that felt like it was coming from inside someone's brain or inside someone's chest, and that was always something that I didn't have as a kid. I didn't really feel like I had an outlet, and I didn't really feel like anybody understood me, which I think is probably very common for most people. But like, my way of being understood was to listen to other artists telling me how they felt, and I was like, I feel like that too. Yeah. So that's just kind of, I taught myself how to write songs by listening to songs. So that's just, it's just worked out that way. I just try and explain. Normally I get an image of the way I feel, and then I try and explain the image, and then that's a song. And that's it. Yeah. But that makes it sound easy, and it's not.
That's so. Twice now we've talked about the significance when you were growing up of media in general. You used to watch TV and movies at night. You would listen to music because you felt like an outsider, like you didn't have a voice. What if? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but like, is there a movie that if it pops on TV, it takes you right back to that moment, or a song that brings you right back to when you were a kid?
For Once in My Life by Stevie Wonder is my favorite song of all time.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because the song's all about purpose. And I definitely wouldn't have been able to put that word onto it when I was a kid. But it's like one of those songs that I feel like I've always heard it at different points in my life. And it's kind of, that's a song that I always feel like it's there for me. Like whatever kind of mood I'm in, that song can either lift me up or like help me indulge in, in whatever bad feeling I have. It feels like a friend, that song. Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It's one of my.
It's perfect.
It's like I absolutely adore that film, and it feels like it's always been there for me, and it never gets old. I could watch it a million times. I haven't watched it a million times, but I'm into hundreds. I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, it's one of those movies that you could play over and over, and it's every bit of it's pretty perfect. They re-released it a couple years ago in 3D, like IMAX.
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it? I did too. Yeah, I went to see it. Went to see it with a bunch of friends, and it was like a religious experience. I was just like, oh my God. Samuel Jackson's hand like coming out. Anyway.
Whoa, hold on to your butts.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the worst Samuel L. Jackson impression. Hold on to your butts.
Yeah. What are you talking about? It sounds like he's right here in the room. All right, the second album, man. How far away are we? How close are you? Have you finished writing all of it? Is it being mastered? Where is it in the process?
Yeah, it's finished.
It's finished.
So it's
ready to go.
It's finished, but obviously, like it's finished in generalized terms.
Yeah.
It's like there's touches that I have to put into it, and it has to be mixed and mastered. So we're doing that
We got
soon.
a minute then. It's not.
Are
you confident in giving a date
dates.
yet?
No, I'm not going to give an exact date, but I'm going to say
range.
confidently. I'd say summer.
Oh, I like that.
There'll be some new music out in the next few months. But also, I wanted to wait until the show had been out and stuff before, diving in.
Your excitement, your need to create and be a part of the process that's led to directing on all these different things. Does that extend to the studio as well? Are you self-producing at times? Do you try to mix your own stuff? Have you mixed your own stuff? Or do you know your limits, kind of thing?
I'm a really bad producer. No, I try, and I produced a song called Lonely Summer, and that was really fun. But it's just I like writing is like my way of getting stuff out. So that's part of me just feels like a good director, for instance, is somebody who trusts other people that are better at doing a job than they are to do that job. Like it's like delegation, but that sounds a bit dictatorial. But yeah, I work with producers, and particularly on this album, Chris Loco, who produced quite a few of my songs from the first album. He's done pretty much the whole album. So we trust each other, and we have a symbiotic thing. So I trust him with my words. I trust him, and I sit there with him. We do it together.
It's a really important thing to have that level of trust when you're working on, because this is your baby. This is you. You already talked about how it's a confessional act and how personal it is. So you have to have that relationship.
It's like trusting someone with your heart.
Yeah, totally. Where's your head at right now as we get ready to wrap up this huge thing, the biggest show on television right now? You wrapped up production a while ago, but it doesn't really end until Sunday, right? That's when that's the finality of it. How do you feel? Where's your head at?
I feel denial. I think denial is kind of where my head's at. I think. It was a very bittersweet thing. We were shooting for so long and doing lots of nights and lots of early mornings, and my arm is the most uncomfortable thing in the world. I can't really walk in it, let alone fight. So there's things like that I'm I was glad that was over. But my last day was I was in bits. When I took my armor off, I cried. I cried my eyes out. I was just I don't want to let go of this. So it's a weird thing. I haven't quite accepted it yet. How do you accept a thing that?
How do you...
It's been a part of my life for 8 years. Not yeah, 8 years.
Well, I gotta tell you something. Here's the fun part, right? Here's a fun thing to
6.
celebrate.
Bad maths. I told you I was an academic.
You're not just on Game of Thrones. A lot of people are on Game of Thrones. I've talked to people on Game of Thrones. You, sir, are one of like literally a dozen that have made it that are in the last episode. You've made it to the end, the finish line. You're there. That's a huge deal. In fact, hold for applause. Ready? Here we go.
You asked for that applause.
I didn't ask for it. I held for it. There's a difference. But I thought that was pretty freaking cool that you made it to the end. And that's gotta be a cool thing to celebrate.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I love you. I think you're great. I think you're character. I thought you were dead, man. I thought you were gonna. I thought the long night. I thought you were gone. I thought it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
I thought I was dead in season 5, 4, 3. I was just like, there's not. Yeah.
How many times did that happen where they send you a script and you don't even read it? You just thumb through to make sure you're on some of the last pages.
That's what I did this year. So for this season. So we have there's a cast of characters. It's the second page of the script, and so I was like reading through them. So I was like, episode 1, okay, yeah, he's there. Episode 2, yeah, he's there. Oh, cool. This is before I read any of the actual script. Episode 3, oh yeah. Episode 4, yeah. Episode 5, where's my Sunday? Okay, but I'm there. Okay, right. Episode 6. Okay, wow. And then I went back and was like, where's my Sunday?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Masande in a minute. We're gonna ask about yes, indeed. We're gonna talk about that. But talking about the long night and that.
Don't want to talk about.
I know, but it's healthy to talk about it. It's good for us to talk about it. One of the things I'm really excited to ask you about, though, because I heard this story. Well, I didn't hear it. I saw it on television. But David and DB, they told a story about when they were doing the long night. You know the one I'm talking about. And they had said they asked you to improvise some Valerian at some point, and you guys had just been there 58 nights or whatever, just grueling shoot. And what you did instead, if you want to pick up the story,
So you could, if you want to see where it happens, there's a bit where myself, Jorah, and Sam go up onto the battlements. We're fighting whites, and then there's a bit where he's like, I'm meant to be rallying the troops and getting them on to fight, and I'm like, "Oh, Sonny, go on, come up the thing," and Miguel, the director, was like, "Jacob, can you improvise something in Valerian?"
Have they ever asked you to do that before?
No. No, I was like, I couldn't think what to say, and he's like, you just need to get them angry and just riled up and ready, and I instinctively. I was like, Mike Pence! Mike Pence! Mike Pence! And I was like, cut!
Is he saying Mike Pence right now?
That was what was Mike Pence was on my brain at that moment.
That's absolutely. I mean, I can't put myself in the shoes of someone who's been in the night 50 whatever nights it was consecutively, rain, cold, wearing all that armor. If Mike Pence is what you needed to yell, then that is what you needed to yell. I won't question that. I'm getting us. We've got a clip actually. This is perfect timing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip, and then we'll jump back into the conversation here.
I am loyal to my queen. I will fight for her until her enemies are defeated. But when the war is over, and she has won, do you want to grow old in this place? Is there nothing else you want to do? Nothing else you want to see?
North. I'd like to see the beaches again.
Then I will take you there.
My people are peaceful. We cannot protect ourselves.
My people are not peaceful. We will protect you.
We've got tissues here. Thank you, Kate. Thank you for being considerate. I forgot that was the clip we were gonna use.
You're cruel.
That's cold. Man. That's cold. obviously that's one of my favorite moments of this season, to see you two sort of dream of that life that now we know is not meant to be. Something I really wanted to ask you about, I thought this was fascinating, was Natalie's response to everything that's been going on. Because, all right, so Missandei's death happens. You were obviously confused reading through the script, right? Where's Missandei? Where's Missandei?
Is that take me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of conversation around inclusion and around representation. This has sparked a whole lot of really great conversations. And Natalie's response, I thought, was really interesting, where she had said that, like, you guys were always aware of the significance of your role being the two, persons of color on the show, but the depth of that significance, the level of it, was highlighted by the fan reaction to her death. It was almost like shining a light on it. Like, she knew about it, but she was surprised by it and sort of taken aback by it. And I'm wondering what you felt about that fan reaction and what your perception was if you were taken back by it.
Yeah, it's been really moving, like I think generally we have to be better at this, and I think it says a lot that I think, like, there are people that feel understood by those characters, and I get that. I'm quite tangential, but, like, seeing Justice Smith with a Pikachu on his shoulder, I was like, me, age 9 or 8, me as a child, seeing that would have meant everything to me. Like, and so, yeah, sorry, it's like it really means a lot that, like, people watch Grey Worm and Missandei and they feel like they have a part in this war, this game, and I think that there's stuff that's sort of unsaid that in the show that me and Natalie have always talked about a lot and really tried to make sure that it was included, even if we're not saying anything. Right. And between us, that people have picked up on, or they've, like, felt it. And that is, like, that's so fucking cool. Like, it means, I think, like, representation can work in both ways sometimes. It's like, for us, we've been talking to each other about this and about reactions to like, particularly, like, episode 2 and when they rode in to Winterfell. And yeah, just like, it's really beautiful. Yeah. And sometimes we feel like you don't want to be I'm really glad that these conversations are being had. I think we should keep having these conversations, but also we should actually just do it as
better.
well.
Right? Yeah, conversations are great.
And yeah, I'm glad that people have the reaction to Missandei's death as well, because there's a lot of complicated things that come in with that, and, like, in the last episode, the collar, that kind of stuff, like, it's very complex, and there are lots of different things that play into that, and the reactions, and how I play stuff and Natalie plays stuff, and it was so, I think it's like a real testament to Natalie, the way she played that moment. The way she said Dracarys, like, gave me goosebumps, because I was like, the thing, like, she did not deserve to die in chains, and for her to have all that rage and that, like, control in saying that, like, burn them all, I think, like, that set up so much going forward. I think she's amazing, and I feel very lucky to be able to work with her.
There you go. See? Hold for that. It sounds like, based on that you two have tried to do this, but I wonder if it's like if you ever felt that you were in a difficult position of feeling the weight of this responsibility, but kind of being limited by whatever the writers have given you to do. And so, did you guys ever talk about that and what that felt like?
I think it's like for us. Yeah, we talk about things that aren't necessarily in the script but are implied, and just about how you play that with looks and yeah, I think there's a lot of that with Missandei and Grey Worm, a lot of side eye, a lot of like I loved the stuff in Marine with Tyrion, like Tyrion white-splaining everything about slavery to them, like. That was so fun to play that stuff. Like, it was so fun to do that. And I think as well, like, I've seen like a few people sort of really understanding Grey Worm in episode 5. Because for me, I kind of understood that. I was like, he doesn't owe anything to these people, you know, to King's Landing. Right. Like, the trauma that those characters have been through, and like the Unsullied have been through like the worst kind of hell. Like, what does he care about Lannisters and Starks and all this kind of stuff? He has no responsibility to them. And also, I want to point, he didn't kill any civilians.
No, he didn't. An important
and that wouldn't
to be made.
Yeah, and he wouldn't. But if you're wearing the red armor, then like fair game. But you know, like I've seen people really understand what that is, and I think that sometimes that is like part of that is because people feel represented about that anger you feel sometimes about that, like yes, sometimes you want to take the high ground and you want to be like relaxed and you want to just put up with it and deal with it, just like code switching. But for me, that moment where he just goes for it it represents like. That moment when you're like, nah, this is I'm going in.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense moment. I'm gonna switch gears just slightly here because there's one thing that I want to know that I hope to God exists. Is there a Jacob, Natalie, Amelia text thread where you all just go back and forth? Are you guys maintaining communication since you?
Oh yeah, we're in contact.
Yeah,
we don't have like a group with the three of us.
That's what I thought. I want to know if there was like a
Team Targaryen.
Exactly. If there was like a team thread that formed out of the story of the show where you guys maintain.
Textgarian.
Textgarian?
What? Stop. Why am I trying to get puns?
I don't know.
Puns the worst form of humor.
Well, done right. It could really land. This crowd loved the tissue bit. I mean, anything's possible. We're going to turn over in just a second, and I promised you in the back that I wasn't going to ask about any spoilers, and I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Nobody wants a spoiler. But I do want to know a question.
Aliens.
There we are. All right. Well, there we go. There you have it. Thank you so much for being here, Jacob. We're going to... Aliens it is. No, just a question everyone's been asked. Are you, having put a cap on it, I know you cried when you took your armor off, but are you content? Are you satisfied with where Grey Worm Stories comes to an end?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All I want for
yeah.
you.
And I think the whole over this season, I could never have predicted that this was where we were going to end up.
Yeah. Really?
No. I was like, I'm a goner in episode 1.
And here you are, all the way to the end.
Here we are.
Congratulations, sir. I got a trillion other questions, but so do you. In fact, one of them's from Twitter, and I want to make sure we have time for everybody's questions. So the first one's from the internet. It's from @WooIsSuch. That's funny. Have any of your songs been influenced by your time with Game of Thrones?
No. No.
Next.
Do you know what? When I wrote Time in the Tree, it was in February last year, so I was on like a bit of a break while everyone in the crypt was shooting their stuff. Yeah. And part of that song was about like just needing a break, but also I had an album to finish and all this stuff to do. So in a roundabout way, but no.
Kinda.
Kind of.
Well, when you get out there, is it really just a matter of not dividing your brain, but like you're just laser focused on what's in front of you. You got to do all these things, so you don't really take that with you back to the music.
I try and be like that.
Yeah.
I try and be as focused as I can because I worry that if I don't just stick to the plan, then I'll never finish anything.
Fair enough. That's the worst.
And I won't finish
That's the
things.
worst. You finished a lot of stuff so far, so you're doing all right. You're doing pretty well.
Trying.
How many we got in the room? We got 4. Let's do it. First one, microphone. I'm going to guess right here.
Hi, Michael David. Been watching the show forever, and it's just so good. And I love seeing just where all the characters have gone. So, given everything that Grey Worm has been through, and everything that obviously has happened, with Missandei and the Unsullied, do you think that he's basically where Daenerys is right now in terms of like an emotional state where it's just like you've been through so much that like, is there really any going back? Like, do you think that Grey Worm as a character could fall in love again? Or like any kind of connection again? Definitely not, right?
No. I feel like he could potentially find some sort of like after Missandei could have possibly found some sort of contentment, but I wanted that for both of them. But I've just realised I have to be really careful. Like imagine in the final stretch, I just tell you everything.
Well, we know
I think
aliens.
he's in a similar place to Danny, but not exactly the same. I think there's an extra layer, not an extra layer as in like more so, but there's another layer for Grey Worm, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Great question. 3 more. Next one is right over here.
Hello. I was curious if there was anybody you wanted to collaborate with your music. Anyone dead or alive that inspires you that you could collaborate
Ooh,
with?
that was good. There's like I tend to think of like collaborations in terms of like if I've got a song or an idea for something, then if somebody comes into my head when I'm writing it, then that's the person that I want, rather than just like I want to work with that person. But I think it's because like I have like anxiety, and the idea of like, and I get social anxiety, and the idea of like sitting in a studio with a stranger who I admire, that's like my worst. That freaks me out. But if I like to push myself, I'd really love to work with Lizzo. I think she's amazing. I think we could do like a really fun song. Yeah, she's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Based on the audible gasps, I think we'd all really enjoy that as well. So Lizzo, if you're watching, if we can make this happen, please.
I want to do a song with Lizzo and Tyler.
Oh.
I'm putting it out there.
Just put it out in the universe. You know what I want to see as a huge, this is the nerdiest, geekiest thing I'm going to say, but, Hodor, Christian's a DJ. Can we get a remix of one of your songs and have a Game of Thrones team up? No? All right, next question. We've got 2 more.
No shade on Christian, obviously. He's great.
No, he's great. Yeah, I'm just putting things together that don't match. That's all I'm doing. We've got 2 more questions. Go for it.
Hi, my name is Juno. My question is, if the season had 2 more if the show had 2 more seasons, which direction would you like to see Grey Worm's character go into?
No. Oh. That was lasers. I was trying to walk for it.
Navigate
Yeah,
the
yeah.
booby traps. Well done.
What would I like? Narf. I don't. In an alternate reality for the show, Missandei never dies, and the 2 of them just get on a boat before this nonsense, and they're like, "Danny, we love you, we're loyal, but this doesn't feel good. We're leaving. Wakanda forever." The only thing is apparently someone told me there's butterflies in Narf that kill you if you're not from Narf. Huh. But I think that's like a book thing, so I don't know. But yeah, Narf or Wakanda if they'll take us.
Thank you.
That's the Disney Plus spin-off show that we're all looking for.
They'll never make. Can you imagine?
Man, if there's money to be made in that show, they're gonna make the shit out of that show. I'll tell you right now. That show's gonna happen.
I just want Okoye to teach Grey Worm how to fight.
One more? I got time for one more. Come on down. Let's do it up. Look at that shirt.
That's an
Yes. Well.
cool shirt.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I wanted to ask, what's your favorite part of performing live, and how much fun is it to bring on stage cast members like Maisie and Joe?
Have I done that?
I think you have.
Oh yeah, I did at Glastonbury. Yeah, I mean like.
I believe her. She's got the shirt.
No, it was. It's really. That was a few years ago. Like Joe is like one of my best friends anyway. Like from outside the show, so that's fun having my friends up on stage with me. I didn't really know Maisie very well at that point, but we met up with her because Joe knows her obviously, and I think she just kind of got dragged on stage. Like when I was like, oh, it's like Joe MC, Maisie Williams, okay, hello. So it's fun. It's fun. Like I always wanted to be in a band because I was like, I like protection. I like being around other people. So the idea of having all my friends on stage jumping around is like the best thing in the world. I've done that a few times. I love that. And in terms of like the thing that I love about live is that you get to see like other people kind of interpreting the songs just in how they feel and how they respond. Like it's such a personal thing when you write a song and then you go and tour and it's like you can feel the connection that you have with people. And I talk a lot on stage. I don't know if you ever see me live, but I talk because it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me less nervous and it feels like we're all there together rather than just me singing at you. So I really enjoy that. I enjoy like connecting with people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. One quick follow-up to that, because you do talk on stage. The first time you ever did that, were you nervous about just going out and talking to your audience?
Yeah, but I had to do it. I think I used to do it quite a bit, but not in the same way as like the last tour. I was really nervous about doing it. I hadn't done any shows for 18 months, and I was terrified. And I was on the verge of cancelling the tour because I was just like, I can't do it. I felt so anxious about it. And yeah, on the first night of the tour, I just decided, I was like, right, I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to say, I haven't done any shows for 18 months. I'm terrified. I need to build my confidence back up. Will you help me? Like, let's just do this together. And it helped so much because people were responsive. It wasn't like crickets.
Yeah,
like
they were there for you, man.
Yeah, and that was really, it helps. It helps to be able to like just look people in the eye and be like, cool, you cool? I'm cool. We're good. Okay. And then let's sing together, like, yeah.
That's a good vibe. I have absolutely enjoyed so thoroughly having you here, man. It has been such a treat, such an honor, such a privilege to have you with us, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for years of this amazing character that you brought to the screen. Thank you for all this awesome music you've made. I'll remind the world that's watching, because I have to apparently, Sunday is the end of Game of Thrones. If you haven't been watching, catch up and then join the rest of the known universe as we watch it all together. And also this summer, new music from Raleigh Ritchie is coming, so keep an eye out this summer. Any tour dates on the horizon?
Fall.
There we are. So summer
Not
new music,
fool.
fall tour.
It sounds so weird saying fall in a British accent. Autumn.
Oh, man, it's been so much fun. I hate to wrap it up, but I have to. Guys, thank you so much for being here, being an awesome audience. Thank you for those tuning in live.
Thank you, guys.
Make that noise for the one and only Jacob Anderson, please. Go on.